Hi everyone, and welcome to another WiZDOM update. My name is Andrew Kubank and I'm fortunate enough to be one of the directors of WiZDOM. So this video is number 6 in the Bank Secrets series, which is just a series of videos that I'm doing, which is all about the secrets that we have learned that banks keep from you over the decades and decades that we've done business with them. And we hope that by revealing these secrets, and giving you a bit of a better idea as to how banks work behind the scenes, it helps position you to work with them as best as possible and thus, maximize your future property journey. So today it's all about sources of money. So the secret that they keep from you is this: there are other sources of money that are available to you and they're not going to tell you about them. So specifically, 2 that I want to talk about is private money and joint ventures. So if you haven't come across private money, well, what is that all about and how does that work? The reality is there is a really big system in Australia for private money. And essentially what it is that there are wealthy people who are absolutely happy to lend their money to other people, kind of like a bank, but do that on a risk-reward basis. So very different to banks. They are very happy to potentially take on more risk than a bank will, but equally they want more reward to be able to do that. And so there is a very sophisticated system that sits behind all of that, which helps bring money to you. And it also means as a source of money, it's available to you where otherwise potentially lending wouldn't be. So there are some pros and cons that we need to talk about quickly when it comes to private money. So the pros are this: it absolutely may be available to you where traditional money isn't. Things like servicing isn't an issue for them. So again, this is risk reward, and a lot of the time a private money lender is happy to do an asset lend only. So quite often, if they understand where the property is, it's a great property, it's in a good location, they're very comfortable, they are willing to lend essentially against the property without having a really good understanding of you, your financial position, and what everything looks like. So the beautiful thing about that is it can help facilitate you get into a property deal that otherwise you wouldn't be able to with traditional money only. That, without question, is the biggest pro. The other pro about them is, unlike lenders, they can operate very quickly. And so again, they are often very small, very nimble organizations. They quite often make their own decisions, so there's no hierarchy of credit or anything like that. These wealthy professionals get an opportunity to be able to look at this deal. They can look at it directly, they can get comfortable about it very quickly, and as a result of that, be agile and facilitate these transactions quickly as well. Whereas, of course, we've all dealt with banks before, we absolutely understand that, the last thing they are is quick most of the time. Now, when it comes to private money though, there are some cons that need to be considered as well. Firstly, it is absolutely higher interest rates. So when it comes to, we're not talking about money that is available here at 5 and 6%, as it would be from a traditional. Expect that you will be paying 12% on a typical residential style property, and it can be higher on that depending on the level of risk that you're asking them to take on. Now, is that expensive? Yes, of course it's expensive. But at the end of the day, if it facilitates a property transaction that you through your feasibilities research and everything you've done on that, you're going to make great money out of that. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean, that you shouldn't do the deal. Yes, it costs more than we would like it to, but the reality is that if that still leads to great profit, and if all other roads lead to, well, you can't do the deal because you can't get the money, well, then it's certainly a consideration for you to do. The other part, again, this is a cost thing as well. It's not just the interest rate. There are also, not inconsequential fees and charges that go along with private money lending as well. So you can absolutely expect that you will be paying, a good 3%, even potentially as much as 5% in both in-cost, establishment fees, everything else, paying for lawyers, paying for valuations, all of the things, that they would expect that you absolutely will pay for, which again is probably a different experience when it comes to banks where, quite often they absorb all of that cost. Private money lenders absolutely will not absorb that cost. There will be significant cost attached to that. And then on the way out as well, around discharge costs and everything else too. So, you've got to factor in, quite a bit of additional cost when it comes to private money. The other probably con when it comes to private money is you need to be very careful about who you do business with here. So there are lots and lots and lots of people that put themselves out to be offering private money. What we often find is that they are, unfortunately, unscrupulous people that are looking to take advantage of people that aren't in great financial situations. So you do need to be really, really cautious about who you do business with, because unfortunately, I refer to this as the Wild West of lending, and I'm not joking. I have unfortunately seen a lot of people, where it's cost them a lot of money because unfortunately they got into business with the wrong people around this. So, if you are looking at private money or potentially, using private money as a way to move forward where you otherwise can't with traditional lending, please work closely with a WiZDOM finance professional. We are very careful about who we do business with and have established relationships with. We only ever work with the actual lenders. We don't work with middlemen. Because again, what we find in private money, there's lots and lots of middlemen. So we've worked very hard, to only form relationships with people who, hold themselves to the highest possible standards here, and none of that Wild West stuff. So again, if you're going to get into private money, please work with the WiZDOM finance professionals. It's really important because we don't want to see you do business with the wrong people. Now then, the other source of money, and again, I'm not going to get into great detail on this, but the other source of money is around doing a joint venture, right? Often there are other people in similar situations or potentially the opposite situation to you who also want to be able to move forward with property, but aren't in a financial situation that they can do that. But with those two powers combined, let's assume one of you has some deposit but doesn't have servicing, another person has servicing but doesn't have deposit. Well, realistically coming together and doing business together puts you in a situation where you can tick both the deposit book and the servicing, box, and as a result of that, make a lend happen where it otherwise couldn't as well. So just consider that, you can potentially do a joint venture with family, friends, colleagues, professionals, just other investors as well. But that is absolutely a source of money that a lot of people don't think about as well. It is quite literally, I need money, I must get it from a bank. Well, the truth is there's a much wider, availability of money when it comes to the big wide world that we do business in. So look, that's a bit of a secret, that they are the only source of money and there's no other sources of money. Well, the truth is there are absolutely other sources of money than just traditional banks. And when you've got that available to you, when you understand what that looks like, it can absolutely, help position you and help facilitate your move forward in property and your property journey where otherwise it may not be able to. So again, hopefully that's helpful. The entire WiZDOM professional team, as always, is here to support you and assist. So please reach out, when you want to have a conversation and start to get ready around this stuff, and we will absolutely be here to help. But until next time, again, thank you for your attention. Hopefully that's helpful, and we will see you all again soon. Take care and bye.